What's happening, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Transfer talk time. A little bit more to talk about today in terms of what we need in the squad after the injury that we sustained against Crystal Palace today in pre-season. Before I get into that, hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video around. Got to give thanks to Karen Curtin, Tony Baldwinson, and Mad Max for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys. If you want to donate super thanks, it's just like a super chat on a live stream. It's on the same like as like and dislike, and it all goes back into the running of the channel. So, and it is much appreciated by myself, of course. But yeah, big shout out to those guys for their super thanks donations in the last video. I just want to get into this one and get in and get out kind of thing. Full disclosure, I've tried to record this video now about 4 times. I'm getting more frustrated. So this is going to be it now. But I'm not going to go into the game too much against Crystal Palace. I'm just going to go with the observations that I've had previously and what continue today. We need another striker. I mean, it's talk about stating the obvious, but we do. Reason being is that for me, Joe Gelhardt is our number 1 striker at the club. For me, he's just the first one on the team sheet. I just don't see a world where Patrick Bamford gets ahead of Joe Gelhardt in 2022. I just don't see it. And Bamford himself has said that he's got a time frame of when he thinks he's going to be fully fit. He's talked about trying to still go to the Qatar World Cup squad, which is, I mean, it's a long shot, but with him, with those mindset, it means that he's going to be doing his best and giving his all to try and get goals for Leeds United. So that's a plus for us. My thing is, I just don't know if we can trust him for 15 to 20 games in the season now. For quote unquote, your main striker, that's not a good thing for me. So Joe Gelhardt for me is our main man. I've said it probably a few times before, but outright saying it now, he's our number 1 striker, but he needs help. And we need another shooter up front. The problem is for us, something I mentioned before, is that it's the football's decent, but when it gets up to the final third, we don't have enough shooters. Joe Gelhardt will shoot from anywhere. He don't care. And I love that about him. But we need other players that will shoot. Now, unfortunately, one of our other shooters that would have been one of those players is Sinisterra, who went down with a hamstring injury after 12 minutes. Listen, it's beyond unfortunate, but hopefully, Jesse Marsch is looking at the best term scenario in that, best case scenario in that he's only going to be out for a few weeks. I hope that's the case too. But we do need somebody else in those positions. We just do. So for me, we need another striker and we need another forward. And we needed that probably before Sinisterra went down. We need them even more so now. We need some more meat in the squad. And more quality as well for me, because I've mentioned it before, and it's just a drop off in quality when you come back to some of the players that played for us last season when they're on the pitch. It just gives me PTSD, man. I'm just like, you can just see they don't have the quality to do what we want them to do in the Premier League. So it's vitally important that in the next 15 days before the season starts, Leeds United get that striker in to help out Joe Gelhardt. And if Bamford's along for the party, cool. But for me, I can't rely on Patrick Bamford, and the club have got to look at it and think, can we rely on him too? The answer is probably no. It's pretty much been a disaster since he signed that new contract. So it's not his fault entirely. There are some things that I think were his fault, but listen, we've got to go ahead with what we've got, and we need more firepower. It's just too toothless up front for me. Left back as well. I mentioned previously in left back positions that I'd take a steady Eddie, but Fabrizio confirmed that David Raum is going from Hoffenheim to Leipzig, which sparked a few people talk about Angelino to Leeds United. Now, I would absolutely love that. I'm not saying Angelino would come to Leeds United, but I'm saying now, because of the drop-off of quality in our squad when some of these newer players are out, I wouldn't mind getting in a real quality left back. And if they can do that, then I'm all for it. There's left backs moving all over the place. Tagliafico's gone to, I think he's gone to France. He's gone to the Ligue 1 team. And it was a very cheap fee. Not saying we could have even got him, because maybe he's looking at staying around Europe. Who knows? But you don't know unless you go in for these players. Now, I know there's a list of players that they're going for. We don't know who. I just hope it's somebody of good quality. Now, for me, I still think that we need one fullback to stay back while the other goes forward. And I think Christensen is that one to go forward with his attacking capabilities. We just get hit on transition a little bit too easily once they bypass the press. That will be an issue, but that's why, for me, we do need one to stay back. I don't think our team is in any position to have 2 bombing fullbacks like Robertson and Trent We don't have those kind of resources in our team to cover that. So it's important that we do get these positions filled, because at this point in time, I still think that there's other Premier League teams that are in much worse positions than us, but I don't want to be looking at other Premier League teams anymore. We did enough of that in the second half of last season, where we're hoping that, oh, they'll be worse than us. They'll be worse than us. We need to look after ourselves. And as long as we do that, I think we'll be more than fine in the Premier League. I'm not saying it's going to be a great season. I'm not saying that one bit. I think it's going to be very plain at this point in time. I think it's going to be very mediocre. But we need that after being so poor last season. To go from a poor season to then trying to challenge for Europe, I think is a bit unrealistic, especially if you're not overhauling a lot of the squad. So for me, it's about getting into those comfortable positions, but we need to take care of ourselves. We need to score goals. So it's vitally important that we get a forward, a striker in as soon as we can. So yeah, I mean, left back, a steady Eddie, or an attacking one who can do both things, I'm cool with. But we just need to get those things sorted. Let me just get into a couple of other things. Let's have a look. Yeah, Rene Maric is going to be Jesse Marsch's new number 2. Jesse didn't confirm it today, but if you go and look at Rene's Twitter, he's like the tweet that Phil Hay had about him being appointed as Jesse Marsch number 2. It's an important position in the coaching staff. It is. You always need that second voice who can talk to players in a different way, or probably give out a bit more tactical advice probably than what Jesse will. It's important that we do that, but you need the personnel on the pitch for me. And I'll just go back to it because, Forshaw hobbled off today too. Maybe it was precautionary. I don't know. But I'm not really bothered. Much like a lot of people weren't really concerned about Firpo being injured because it means that you're getting another left back. For me, I'm hoping with Forshaw hobbling off, it just shows that he can't be relied on anyway. I mean, he's not a Premier League player anyway. But anyway, that's another story. But he can't be relied on. So maybe we go in for a central midfielder if money allows it near the end of the window. That's what I'm hoping for. Because, like I say, the drop off from the quality in some of the players that we've got to others is too steep for me. It's too steep for me to witness with my eyes. But yeah, new assistant coming in, and hopefully that helps out. Jack Harrison. It said that Ben Jacobs is saying that Newcastle are going to be preparing a second bid. Again, that's something else that we need sorted out now. We need him to either sign a new contract, declare he's staying in that way, or get the deal done. I'm not going to say anything about his performance today. It was, again, another one of those Harrison performances where, was he playing? Was he playing? But listen, we can't just let him go without provisional replacements in place. For me, I would want the replacement in before you sell Jack Harrison if it comes to that, because it seems Newcastle are pressing pretty hard for him. Obviously, this is a one of Eddie Howe's main targets. He obviously wants him bad. Let's see how far they're willing to go. But I'm seeing Cody Gakpo today being linked with Arsenal. If he's our target still, go and get him. Cody Gakpo is on that lines of a shooter as well. We need more of those. We've got to have him. So listen, Harrison, if he's going to stay, he stays. If he goes, he goes. For me, once you've lost Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, that's your 2 best players gone. You got to work around it. If you can get better than what you've got, do it, because we're not really in a position to turn down a lot of money for Jack Harrison and not reinvest it back into the team if you can get better. So I'm hoping that's what happens. But maybe Jack Harrison signs a new contract too. Who knows? Who knows? Jesse already said that Jack Harrison probably made more of a story than it should have been. I probably agree with that too. But yeah, it's all mad. It's all mad. We're seeing Jesse Lingard as well. I just want to touch on that as well. Good deal for Nottingham Forest, by the way. A lot's been made of the money that he's being paid. I don't see what business that is of anybody's, in all honesty. Whether it is just 80,000 or 180,000, like, who is it to you? Jesse Lingard has got himself a year deal at Nottingham Forest, and for Nottingham Forest to have him in their team gives them a good chance against teams around them down the bottom. Will that be us? Who knows? But he's a difference maker, because not only is a playmaker, he loves to shoot. So listen, this is what I'm talking about. The Forest have made a good deal there. If it works, it's great for them, isn't it? It's a free deal, wages only, and it's a year, so there's no obligation to keep him if his wages are too high in the champ, he's gone after a year. And I think that's a pretty good understanding to have. As I said in the last video, we were never going to be in for him because of the whole Leeds Man United connection. I don't think Jesse would have come in, much like Calvin wouldn't have gone to Man United. But that's one hell of a signing for Nottingham Forest. Really is. And that's what I mean. You've got to take your chances. You've got to take gambles like that in terms of your Premier League squad, making your squad better. And I'm hoping that's what Leeds United are going to do over the next week. I need to see these new signings in the next week, preferably in the next few days, never mind week. We need to get them in the door. It's important for our squad. It's important for the team. So yeah, I don't really have much else to say on anything else like that. Yeah, anything I've discussed in the video, please leave your comments in. As you know, I always read them and reply to a lot of them if they make sense. But no, listen, if you want to join the fantasy football as well, the link will be in the description. To become a member of the channel, link is in the description as well. And yeah, I'll be back at some point with a live stream, but I thought I'd just get out what I'm feeling after today, especially after the Sinisterra injury and just that the lack of goals, because the goals thing needs to be addressed. And just quickly as well, when we talk about importance of left back and striker, they're both as important as each other. But whereas we can shift over a few people for left back and give an adequate fill-in, you can't replace goals. You just can't. You need goals to stay up. So for me, the forward position is probably more important right now. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you at some point this weekend, people, or just after. Peace out.